Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for XRP. Now I wanted to have a bit of a discussion about this chart, and one of the major things I want to point out to you is the fact that this is very, very difficult to have any primary count on, and very difficult to count any of these waves, a lot of WXY complex corrections. It doesn't mean it's not bullish. It just means you're going to get a lot of volatility in any move to come, where you might think it's taking off like here back in 2021 and it just collapses off on you after the fact. So keeping that in mind, any trade setups where there's really good potential, you'll want to get out pretty quickly at target. Now first, this is the most bearish scenario I have. And that is if Bitcoin is a sell the news sort of ordeal. I think XRP would be one of the ones that gets hit the hardest, unfortunately. And that would be on the daily from that high in 2021, where we come down and make an ending diagonal down to the 1-to-1 around 14 cents. I've shown this chart many times. This would be a sell the news scenario in Bitcoin if the entire market collapses. Now I'd be very interested in it down here if that happens. It could potentially, if we make a new low, be the best thing that could happen to XRP, because we could actually make an impulse after, because we'd have a completed huge correction from the all-time highs. But this would be the sell the news scenario. I'm not trading this one currently. This is the bullish scenario I see immediately. And that is a series of WXYs, very complex. We're getting a lot of ABCs, flats, etc. in here. But the important thing is the pivots, if you're trading this scenario. And that is, we had a three-wave move up, three-wave move down. We hit just past the 618. We had a three-wave move up in a flat. We had a complex structure here. Doesn't mean it's complete. For the purposes of this, I'm saying it's complete. But you can see a very similar pattern as previous here. So kind of on a lesser degree. We had the big sell-off, and we're making three-wave pattern. So potentially we could get a move like this. I'm just showing you that. You got to look at the previous chart, especially if it's following relatively closely. It could be a fractal of the previous pattern. And where that would get us, if this path is correct, is around the 1-to-1 at 138, at which case, if you're trading this, you'd want to get out right there, because most likely this would be a B wave in a larger correction, or the first wave in a sideways correction like so, and then we make another move to the upside. Either way, it's going to be very complex. I'd expect at least a 50% retracement on this move up. So you can see it's very difficult to lean into anything here. All we have is three waves and we have overlap. How do you trade that, right? My argument, if you're going to trade this, is you'd have to trade it as a flat, a 3, 3, 5 to the upside, similar to over here. We had an A, 3, 3, 3, or a very ugly impulse. But this one we have overlap. So we'd expect most likely 5 waves up as a flat. We came to the 70% retracement of that wave up, which I have marked here. So it is valid. But if you're going to trade this, you'd probably want to put your stop at the lowest at this pivot here. The exact price of that, according to Binance, was, sorry, really zoomed in there. The exact price of that was 42.26. So the entry is not bad. You might even want to put it below the last pivot there if you want that to hold and get a larger size. But I'm not trading this personally. I'm okay with missing this move. But it's a good 5-to-1 trade setup if you put it at the low. If you tighten it up off the last pivot and consider this an ABC complete, you can get 10-to-1 risk reward, so it's not terrible. The only way I would personally be interested in this is if we make a nice 5-wave impulse here and we have a nice correction behind. And then I'd play the 3rd, 4th, and 5th wave, which would be near where the price we currently are at is, except I'd have more information to go off of, which is why I would be interested at that point. And alternatively, this could be a 3-wave. This could just be the first wave of a correction. Say this is a 3-wave. This could just be our first wave of a correction where we come up, make an ABC to the upside, then come back, then we make this Y wave. I'm only pointing out the fact that we can be done because we've done it before on XRP. So we could go straight there. But not terrible if you're trading it, you just take that twice, right? Or if we get this move up, you put your stop to break even, and no harm, no foul. If you get stopped out, you're looking for the re-entry below this X wave. And lastly, it's on a different chart. I'll show you that. Lastly, we could be getting this massive on the weekly triangle, which again would make XRP trade more correctively in the future. This looks like a 3-wave here, and all we'd expect, say we get this triangle, is another 3-wave to the upside. And this would be a very complex WXY, but we're talking way out, like years. But this is another one I'm following. That's if we get that big move up at the 1-to-1 extension. It was up around 120-ish, 130. This could be the scenario that plays out after the fact. But it could be very impulsive in the future to the upside if that's what we end up getting. So more of a discussion there. I just wanted to show you guys what I'm seeing on XRP and why I don't actively trade it unless we get a really nice setup. Because there's just too much chop, too many 3-wave patterns, etc. So, but if we do get, again, on the micro, down at the 1 hourly, let's see if anything of interest is happening. It's potentially a 1-2, 1-2, but there's nothing to lean in here to. If we break this level, I'll throw a alarm on there. If we break this level, I'll take a look at the count. But again, I'd want to see a really nice 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. And then we come back and find support on this previous 4th, which isn't that far away. The only way I'd miss it is if it absolutely takes off. But at this point, I might be interested in a long, targeting that $1.20-ish. All right, guys, I wish I had a more clear setup for you, etc. But just to recap, this is what I would look for immediately with that previous pivot to hold around 50 cents if I was taking this trade. But I'm not financial advice. And if we get that sell the news scenario, I'd expect us to go challenge for new lows. And I would actually hope we break it so we can actually create an impulse and consider a larger correction complete rather than dealing with all this chop. All right, guys, that's it for XRP. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want my updates, and I'll see you on the next one.